Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Egld. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. And if you haven't seen the previous update, make sure to watch that before watching this one. It's going to be linked in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Now let's jump into the TA. So taking a look at Elrond on the daily chart, as you can see, we have a Fibonacci retracement, which is going to give us our support and resistance levels. So we have a high in August and we have a low in July, and our 1.618 target currently is sitting at the 1.618 Fibonacci level at 35 or roughly $36, I should say. Now, we have already lost this low that we created in June. We have retested it in September, and we lost it here in November, and you're in sort of another falling wedge pattern here, and you're holding the 1.272 Fibonacci retracement for now at $41.50. But I think if we continue dropping this way, and if Bitcoin continues printing lower lows, altcoins are going to continue dropping and continue printing lower lows, and I think the 1.618 target is a pretty certain destination for Elrond, even if we have a very quick, brief wick down and a retracement to the upside very quickly, which usually happens for altcoins. I would still have my buy limit order set up around this area at $36, $35. I think that's a great entry for Elrond. And as you can see, we do have some sort of a falling wedge pattern here. If I just bring out a couple of trend lines, let's just zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, as you can see, we do have some sort. Actually, I would say this is probably more of a channel down pattern now that I look at it. Let me just try to set this up as a channel down pattern. Yeah, as you can see, so yeah, we are in this channel, and a channel down pattern is usually broken to the upside, which is what happens with these patterns. But obviously, there are exceptions to the rule, and if we see any sort of black swan events, major capitulations in the stock market, which is very possible, and I think that is definitely going to come once the Fed pivots. So once we are going to start seeing inflation coming into play once again, and they're going to start printing their money, and I think that's going to start happening in spring. So I think before spring, we're going to see the Fed pivot, and we're going to see the S&P 500 crash because of that. It happens every single time. Take a look at history and see what happens when the Fed pivots. And once that happens, I think crypto will take another dip as well, and that is going to be our last sort of major buying opportunity. And yeah, this is the potential outcome we might have. Now, you can say that crypto has officially decoupled and we're not, connected to the stock market whatsoever. That is not true at all. Crypto is a little tiny fraction of the financial market system, and it takes nothing. It takes literally nothing to pump and dump these markets. And right now, whales are accumulating. They're doing that for a reason, and some are still waiting. There is so much money waiting on the sidelines, and the reason they're not getting in is, one, some of them are scared, and two, others know that there is another dip coming. That's why they are waiting to buy into that dip. Now, obviously, I'm not an Illuminati. I can't tell you that we're going to see that dip 100%. But is it likely? Yes, it is likely, and I would like to have some spare cash to buy into that dip. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, and I'm going to be prepared for that as well. And I'm going to buy into my favorite altcoin. So $36, great entry here for Elrond. Obviously, we could go lower, but if we see that $36, that's a 15% move to the downside. Let's say we see a 30% dip for actually 27% would take us to $30. And going to the 2.272 here, that would be $27.50. So that even looks likely if we see this major capitulation, right? Because we've seen major capitulations. You know what they look like. You can see altcoins dip 50% in 2 days. So this is nothing. This is nothing. If we drop to $27, this is nothing. This is where you should be buying and accumulating. And if you're selling at a loss, well, then, investing is not for you really, because you don't have patience, you don't know how the markets work, and yeah, you can just do whatever you want, but investing is not for you. But if you're here for the long term and you're here to make wealth, then you obviously should know about these things, and you should be prepared to see a minus 70% on your wallet someday, right? And I've seen that. And I've gone through that. That's why I speak of this with such confidence. Once you go through that, you're really start to get mature in the markets, and that's when you realize how things run. And I'm not saying I'm a guru or I know all be all, but I just know that we're getting another bull market in the next couple of years, and that's the entire reason why I'm investing, because I want to become financially free. And Elrond is one of the few strong projects that I think is going to succeed within the next 2 years. Now, taking a look at the daily RSI, sorry about the little tangent there, but taking a look at the daily RSI, as you can see, strong dip here in November. We haven't retested the support level here that I have for you. Now, we've bounced off of this level 3 times since January 2022, so a 4th time potentially could be coming within the next couple of months. Like I said, I'm expecting another capitulation before the end of winter, because usually winter is when we print our bottom for the bear market. Now, whether that's going to be at this, daily RSI level or not doesn't really matter. But if you see the RSI at this level, just know that this is a great entry, because you've seen bounces off of this level every single time. As you can see, you had a bounce here all the way up to the index of 60. Here you saw a bounce all the way up to the index of 44. From here you saw a bounce all the way up to the index of 67, and so on and so forth. So once we have the next bounce, you pretty much could make some money, short term to mid-term, because if you're a swing trader or you like to get in and out of projects real quick, then these entry points are for you. Now let's switch over to the Binance website. Now, taking a look at the weekly for Binance, as you can see, I have a support block down here, anywhere from 29.8 to 20.5. So this is a support block based on the trading range we have created in December of 2020. So we printed a high at $29 and we printed a low at $20 later on in the month. And this is why I have this on, because this is the support block that could hold us if we see a continuation in this downtrend, right? This could be the last this could be your bottoming area for Elrond if we indeed have that last capitulation. And I'm not saying that you should save all your money and not invest now, because obviously there is a chance that we might end up, printing our low here at $35, and we might reverse in the next couple of months and start printing higher highs towards the bull market in 2024. That is also a possibility, and I'm ready for both outcomes, and so should you be ready for that. Because if you're only expecting one outcome and you are certain something is going to happen, well, you're going to get wrecked at one point or another. So you have to be ready for both outcomes. That's how you succeed in these markets. So obviously you have a couple of support levels here, $45, $35.4, and you have the buy zone anywhere from $29 to $20. And you have this high, right, which we created in August 2020. That's where you have the 35.4 high. So I would take a look at these levels, and I would dollar cost average based off of these support levels, right? Because you're obviously printing a lower low here, right? You can see that you've closed the candle at 45, but here you're opening up candles at 41. So you printed a lower low and you're printing lower highs. So you're in a downtrend, and you could be in this downtrend until you actually start finding your footing here in this area, and we start getting the sentiment flipped to bullish, and that's when we see the reversal. Until then, it's DCA and DCA. And taking a look at the weekly RSI here, as you can see, we're bouncing off of a major support level, 34.4 on the index. That's a nice area for us. We retested that in September, and we're having another retest here in November. So this is a good area for us to enter as well. I do have some Elrond, so I'm bullish on the project. And as you can see, we broke out of this falling wedge perfectly, and we had a nice back test of support. And from there, we had a move to the upside. So for now, we're doing great. Elrond is doing great based on the RSI. However, if we have a relief rally and we see a move to the upside, I would be looking at this light blue resistance trend line that we have been testing in February 2021, November 2021, And with a relief rally, maybe in December, maybe in January, we might run into that. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. And obviously, if we see a capitulation and you see the weekly RSI come back down into the oversold, then you don't need anyone to tell you that that's a great buying opportunity. Okay, so that's what I think regarding Elrond on the weekly chart and the RSI. If you take a look at the volume, you can see the volume is very low, which means there is not a lot of stuff going on in the markets, and that's when you should be entering, when it's boring. And for the weekly stochastic, you can see that we are in the oversold, and we've been there since January 2022. So basically, this year 2022 is great for accumulating Elrond based on the stochastic. And once we get up there above the index of 80, once again, that's going to be the area where you want to be taking profits. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Thank you all for watching. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. Feel free to join me on Patreon. I'm going to catch you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.